Animal Crossing New Horizons is a game I've been looking forward to since it was announced in 2018. I've played a decent amount of Animal Crossing, and I've enjoyed it quite a lot, so I was really looking forward to New Horizons. The game looked really good from the trailers that Nintendo showed, and the reviewers who got early access were calling it the best Animal Crossing game yet. After almost 2 years of waiting, the game finally released and I got it. I really enjoyed my experience with it, but the more I played it, I began getting kind of disappointed. Now don't get me wrong, this game is good. It's got nice relaxing music, great and cute visuals, nice relaxing vibes, and it's a pretty fun game to play. But I still felt disappointed by it. So now, let me talk about why I feel disappointed by Animal Crossing New Horizons. The first reason why I got disappointed was because the villagers just aren't that interesting. I love talking to villagers in the other Animal Crossing games. They all had unique personalities and unique dialogue, but that isn't really the case for New Horizons. The villagers in New Horizons feel much more flat compared to villagers in previous entries. I have to talk to them at least 3 times to even get them to say something somewhat interesting. And if I talk to them too much, they get mad at me for talking to them too much. And if I'm holding an item, all they do is talk about the item I'm holding. Even the special characters are way more uninteresting. As an example, Isabelle is so much more boring in New Horizons compared to her in New Leaf. And it seems that every day she seems to forget that talking about her favorite TV show isn't news. Also, the special characters always have to treat you like you've never seen them before. As an example, if you talk to Blathers, he will do his entire introduction to the museum again, even if it's the 6th time you've seen him in that day. But yeah, that's my first problem with this game. The characters lack personality compared to previous Animal Crossing games. Talking to the villagers was one of my favorite things to do in previous Animal Crossing games, but I don't feel the need to in New Horizons. The villagers are just so bland that I often just run past them without talking to them, or I just skip over their dialogue. Now that's one issue with the game, but I do have a bigger issue. Nintendo keeps adding new content to New Horizons by updates, and look, I'm fine with adding new content to games with updates, but the content they are adding is content that was already in other Animal Crossing games on launch day, and then Nintendo acts as if this is completely new content. The problem with this is that it makes the game get boring fairly quickly compared to other Animal Crossing games because the game lacks content as of now. And that's never a good thing for a game where you are intended to play every few days to see what's happening. I assume that they do this to give the game more longevity by adding new content in that will keep bringing players back in. But I would prefer it if they added all the content from previous Animal Crossing games on New Horizons' launch day and then proceeded to add completely fresh new content through updates. Take for example, diving. Diving was a feature added in Animal Crossing New Leaf on launch day, and you probably would guess it was also added on launch day in New Horizons, especially since New Horizons literally takes place on an island, which you know is surrounded by water. But nope, they added it in an update. Dream Suites, a feature also from New Leaf, was added in an update in New Horizons, and the list goes on. And even then, there's still several things just missing from the game. Brewster's in the Roost Cafe, gyroids, more types of fruit, several retail stores, Nintendo items, more gems, the megaphone, mini games, and the list goes on. Now we will probably see a lot of these things return via updates, but it's still sad that we just didn't get these things on launch day. I can pretty much guess the Nintendo items will for sure come back since we will be getting furniture items from the Mario series. But guess what? They won't even be released until March 2021. Like I said, it's sad that we have to wait this long for these things to return when they really should have just been added on launch day. Now don't get me wrong, this game has a lot of content to enjoy. I put in about 115 hours into this game, which is a pretty fair amount. But I've put way more time into other Animal Crossing games simply because there is much more to do. It's also not great considering that this is supposed to be a very long-lasting game. Even though they keep adding content through updates, it still isn't enough to make me want to return to playing it. By the time they added diving, I had already gotten bored of the game, so I don't feel any need to return to it. I wish that the game would have all of the stuff from previous Animal Crossing games, but on launch day, and we could actually get new content through updates. I also wish that the villagers and special characters would be more interesting. Now those are my 2 biggest criticisms of this game, but I do have a smaller criticism that I would like to talk about here. One criticism I have is that you are only able to have one island per Switch, which I can't really see why. I don't see why we couldn't have multiple islands. I've heard Nintendo say that it might be to stop cheating or something, but that really doesn't make any sense. How could someone cheat by having multiple islands? It's pretty obvious this is just a move to sell more Switches. I think it goes to show how Nintendo is becoming more anti-consumer, and it's pretty unfortunate. But yeah, those are mostly all my issues with Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think this is a bad game. Not at all. This is a good game, and I think it's worth getting. Obviously, if I absolutely hated it, I wouldn't put nearly as much time into it as I did. I just don't think it's the best Animal Crossing game like people have been saying. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I should hopefully have a new video coming soon. And I know that this video is pretty short, but my next one will be a lot longer than this one. So make sure to follow me on Twitter at WildTheory if you want updates on that. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye. Thank you.